Hey everyone, it is Eric with Rockin' Age TV, and I am continuing my series on how I turned my hobby into a $30,000 and so this is going to be the final lesson in it, and today I'm going to share with you a couple game-changing ideas that I put in place that were tough to do but had a huge impact, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get started though, I will kind of recap where we've been and just give you a little summary of what I talked about in the first two lessons and let people kind of gather up. So there, we're getting a few people on the call. It's good to see you, Dusty. Nice to see you there, and thank you for joining. So where have we been? Let me see. Wednesday I talked about some things that I did wrong and gave you some warnings on what not to do. And then yesterday I talked about a few things. I follow Pat Flynn from SmartPassiveIncome.com's idea on being everywhere with Facebook, YouTube, and my website, which gives me legitimacy on the internet. Google likes it that I'm in different places and I'm adding content and being active. Thus, when you're searching for things, I'm more likely to end up in the search results at the top of your page on Google. That's a big deal, guys, because it cost me anything, and it makes a big difference. And if you're seeing a few pauses here, normally Wi-Fi is not a big problem here, but apparently I'm having a few blips today. So if you see a pause, stay with me. It shouldn't last long. But so following that idea, being everywhere, being legitimate in the eyes of Google's algorithms. Okay, yesterday I talked about choosing your customer. Get a mental picture of the person you're selling to in mind. That way, as you're talking and writing and you know how to talk to that person, because not everyone's your customer. Some people aren't going to like your price. Some people aren't going to like your product. Some people are looking for a product you don't have, thus you can't sell to them, and a variety of other things. But you want to have in your mind who it is you're selling to. And I described in a little bit of detail who my ideal product, who my ideal client is, and then how I talk to them online. 3, I said add value that costs you nothing, and I gave several ideas on how to add value that makes your product worth more, but it doesn't cost you a lot of time and expense to accomplish that. Okay, and there's some really simple ideas I gave to you yesterday. And then I said to make promises and keep them, and be honest with your clients. I talked at length about that, about, you know, if it's coming up the deadline and you can't make it, just ping them, say, guys, I can't make it, here's the problem. And then generally, if you're proactive, you're not going to have any trouble, and they will appreciate that extra touch you gave them. And then finally, I shared my own idea about how I bid projects. And I said that once I bid a project, I don't go back and ask for more money unless the client changes it, and then I'll go and make the tweaks if I need to. But as a professional, I consider it my job to get the bid right. And if I make a mistake or something comes in over budget, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I lose a little margin on some deals, but most of the time I'm right where I want to be. And I know my clients appreciate not having to this song and dance with, well, you know, something came in a little over budget, it's going to cost you $10 more. Well, I'm not going to nickel and dime my clients for $10, especially if it's something I could have solved ahead of time or foreseen. So those are some things that I do that I did to make my business worthwhile. But now that it's 12 o'clock and I've kind of recapped a little bit, to make good use of your lunch hour and good use of my own, I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the meat of today's lesson. And I have not one. Yesterday I said I'm going to share with you one game-changing idea, but today I have 2 game-changing ideas that just made an absolute huge difference in the way I do my business. And one of them was, and I started one before the other, and the one that I started before the other was, and I have to tell you, it was, both of these two scared the crud out of me because of, and I'll explain why they scared me, but these were just, I sweat a lot over what I did to really get me where I wanted to go, and I didn't expect to get there as quick, okay? But here's what I did. The tutorials that Rocket H might be famous for or infamous for, however you want to see it, the tutorials I started doing, I was scared to death that I was going to lose customers. And really, one of them came about, well, let me step it this way. What got me started was on Periscope. When I started doing them there, I thought, well, this will be a great way to add value, and then the videos won't live, so, you know, and even some of the tutorials I was doing even way ahead of that was, I found myself doing some repetitive things that I just got tired of doing, okay? They didn't cost, I mean, they weren't high value things anyway, like stretching a truck. I think that was one of the very first tutorials I did. That one, I was, you know, people would say, well, if I sent this to you, would you stretch it? Well, I didn't want to do it, okay? That's it. I didn't want to do it. And I was really concerned that the more I gave away, the less business I would get, but exactly opposite happened, okay? So it seemed like the more content I would give away to people and let them enjoy it and do whatever they wanted, the more business I got. It's counterintuitive. And that's exactly what I didn't think that would happen. That's what I was so scared about. I thought, my gosh, if I keep doing what all these other online entrepreneurs are doing, there's no way in the model business that I can still make money. That's dumb. It won't work. But once I kind of got over the fear and started doing a few things that I didn't want to do anyway, what I found was the people that would never buy from me anyway often used the tutorials and did their own thing and made awesome models, which is great. But what happened was the people that didn't want to make it, regardless of the price, they were going to buy from me whether or not they knew how to do it. Okay? It gave me credibility, because then they could see, well, this guy does know what he's doing, or at least he fakes it really well. So that's what happened. Okay? It's kind of like, you know, getting your oil changed. Most of the guys that watch these videos, any one of you can go in your driveway and change your oil, right? And it doesn't even cost much. I mean, it's, you know, for 18, 20 bucks, you can go change the oil on your car, right? But it's a hassle. I just don't want to spend my time changing oil. I'd rather pay someone else to do it. I really don't even care what it costs. I would rather have them do it. You know, and now that I can buy 4 oil changes for $100 from a local car dealer, I'm like, you guys get it all. And I haven't changed my oil in 15 years, at least. It's just a hassle. But I could save money, right? But the same guys that are watching the tutorials, and they could do it, they could save money, they want to hassle with it. And so they're buying from me anyway, and now they have credibility to believe that what they're getting is what I say they're going to get, because they get to see it, or they get to see a process like whatever it is they commissioned me to do. Does that make sense? I hope so, because that is key. Now, does that mean all of you need to start shooting videos the way I do? Well, I hope you do, because it'll be great for you. And you have a different audience that I get. So some of the guys that you're not going to find them because they found me and they like the relationship we have, etc., etc. On the other hand, when you start giving away content and building a relationship online with a client, guess what? I'm not going to stay too big for me to sell to everybody. So you create your videos, you create your free content, or whatever it is you come up with, and you go do that, and you will get clients, and you're going to accelerate your business. That's the way it's going to work. Okay? Now, I want you to be I want you to pay attention to what I'm telling you to do. Okay? I'm telling you that I'm giving away content, and it's making my business grow bigger. And I want you to give away some sort of content. I don't care how you do it, but do it, and it will grow your business. And that's what's going to happen. And listen, I'm not scared about competition. I'm not afraid that you're going to take business from me. I'm not scared of any of that because the world is too big. No one has a corner on the market of any of this stuff, and the world's big enough for all of us to do great things. I mean, there's 100 brands of toothpaste, and do you think any of them really care that there's 100 brands of toothpaste? No, they're doing their best to sell the brand they have to the clients that they want. Okay? Same thing here. So I believe in this firmly, and this little adage, and you can write this down and post it on your Facebook wall and share it around the world, but I believe in this firmly that generosity trumps scarcity. Okay? Generosity trumps scarcity. Keep that in your mind as you're talking to clients and as you're talking to your customers and people that you want to do business with, because every time you're generous, it is going to come back around to you somehow. It may not be right away. This is a crock pot approach, not a microwave. Okay? Take that metaphor to the bank. It's crock pot, takes a long time for the goodness, not microwave. I mean, you can microwave something, and generally it's just like, but it is, that's what's going to happen. And we have a comment here. Braden says, maybe I missed it, but you mentioned to me once about emotional value I have for a truck I may have built, but can't expect others to pay for my being attached to it. I have had to drop a few, and I can't see the rest of that comment. Darn. Well, hopefully we can get the rest of that comment because it looks like it's going to be very, very good. Okay. So, whatever you do about giving away content, whether you're just helping people in private messages, maybe you do some videos, maybe you do something live, that's fine. Or I encourage you to do live because then people connect to you, the person, rather than just a picture on your Facebook wall or however you communicate with your folks, or an email. You could do blog posts, you could do picture tutorials, PDF files. Some of this takes a little bit of time to create, but I tell you, it'll pay you back in spades. It will come back to you over time, not right away. You have to be consistent and dole out this free content over time, but it will come back to you, okay? So that was a game changer for me. One of the scariest things I thought I would do, and it turned out to be the greatest thing I could have done. One of the greatest things I could have done. 2, this is the second point, and this is a big one, guys. You simply got to raise your prices. You know, man, I tell you, I would build end-up grain trucks in the early days and sell them for $100. You know, and I'd make 4 or 5 of them and try to sell them for $125 or $100 and maybe sell them for 90 or 80 or, you know, and at the beginning I thought, holy crap, I'm getting $80 out of this? Well, it didn't take long to figure out that, you know, the margins are so tight, you're just not going to make any money at 80. I mean, you're going to give away your time for free. You could go work at McDonald's and make more money flipping hamburgers, than you could building models. And once I kind of came to that conclusion, I mean, it was like no-brainer. This was stupid. And here's what happened, and I've said this before, and it's worth repeating because it is so important. And I see this currently on Facebook groups, these model truck groups and model farm toy groups that some of us belong to. I see guys, well, I'm getting out of the hobby because it's so darn expensive, and you know, people want this and they don't want to pay for it, and blah blah blah, you know, and they're just angry and upset and they're burned out, and you know, this hobby is too much fun to be PO'd and ticked off and worried and you know, fighting with clients and this and that. It's too much fun to have all that baggage with it. So this is what you got to do. And again, this was a very scary thing for me. And I'll use this example. That $100 end-dump truck that I could barely give away, I raised my price to $250. I said $250 flat, and it's more if you want decals. Okay? So if you just want a run-of-the-mill truck, maybe it might be a white Peterbilt with a red box, or you had to think of whatever it is you want. This is $250 flat fee out of the gate, and I'm still not charging enough because they just take a lot of time to put together. But anyway, they're not hard. They take time. But when I went from charging from $100 to $250, this is what happened. One, I did not lose clients. Okay, I did scare a number of them away, but get this, they were the same clients that probably wouldn't have bought it at $100 either. Okay, so the guys that were willing to pay $250 for an end-dump grain truck in 1/64 scale from me, these are the guys that they said, you just build it, tell me when it's ready, and I'll pay you. And I would tell them, I want half down, and when you get pictures, I'll send you pictures when it's all the way through, but when it's done, you finalize it. If you like it, you pay for it, and if you don't, I send your money back. And then, but 10 out of 10 times, they're like, great, here's the rest of the money. And guess what I did not hear from those folks as I was building this truck for them? I did not hear every day, when's it going to be done? Have you done this? When's it going to be done? Oh, I'm looking forward to it. You know, on and on and on and on. They didn't nickel and dime me with comments. I would just trickle out little pieces of information. Here's a picture. Here's where we're at. Here's the paint job. Here's it stretched out. You know, just little things, little touches all the way through. And at the end, they were delighted and they paid for the rest of the vehicle, the model. Okay? And I had to work. I didn't work quite as much because, you know, if you're charging more for a model, you don't have to make as many of them to stay profitable and keep everything flowing, which was beautiful. And so that was one of the byproducts. So I didn't have to work as much. I still worked a lot. As I mentioned yesterday, 20 to 30 hours is about what I've been spending on model building, and not so much this summer because I've just I'm in the process of segueing into another business model. But so I'd spend a lot of time building them, but I was just making so much more money, and it made it fun again, and I wasn't angry, and I wasn't saying things like, well, people just, you know, people, you know, they just want the moon, but they want this great thing, but they don't want to pay for it. Well, right. Some people don't want to pay for it. Go get the videos, go do it yourself. That's fine. But I did have a great base of people that would, because they didn't want to jack with it. They liked the relationship they had with me. They had credibility. Excuse me. They had credibility because they could see me make the thing in front of their eyes, and you know, I was giving them value that didn't cost anything, and all of these little things I've talked about in the last 2 days, including today. I was giving them all of this stuff, and it made it more valuable. And guys, you know, I really get discouraged. I don't get discouraged. That's not right. I shake my head when I hear all these people, they're so upset about, you know, they'll say, you know, the model truck business or the model farm toy business is going downhill, and why can't it be like the good old days? And, you know, in the future, I mean, the future's going to be different, and it's not going to be as good, and, you know, and the customers just want everything, and they don't want to pay for it, and on and on, and all this negativity. And guys, I don't feel any of that. In the last few years, I got nothing but great things to say. About my only frustration has been where to get great decals consistently. I mean, that has been my biggest frustration. I mean, I've had some other little frustrations here and there and ebb and flow of things. But by and large, guys, I've been having a blast. I mean, and I work with great people. They are the greatest people on the planet. I'm getting paid what I feel I'm worth, what the work is worth. And it's just fun. And that is what I did, and that is the result of doing all these things I've spoke about in the last couple days. That is the result. And if you want that, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how much I encourage you to do the things that I've been teaching you today and yesterday, and then also on Monday about what not to do. So those are some tips and some ideas on how to build a big business. Now, not a big business, but a business you can be proud of, a business that doesn't cause you too many headaches, that leaves you happy at the end of the day, that gives you joy and pleasure and money and allows you to accomplish the things you want to do. So if you do those things, guys, you're going to have results. It won't happen overnight. You have to be consistent. Pick some ideas, put them in place, be consistent over time, and it's going to work for you. I mean, it's just going to work, but you got to do it. You can't not do these things. That's all I can tell you. So I hope you've been getting some value out of these Thank you for the feedback, guys. I really appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot. So thank you for that. If you have comments or questions, if you disagree with anything I've said, that's perfectly fine. Put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it, because I'm here to help. And if, you know, and one of the things I love about doing what I'm doing now with teaching is, you know, and this is just a bit of a segue into where I'm going in the future, and I'll talk about that just for this 1 second. One of the things I love about giving away content is, you know, guys that wouldn't buy from me anyway, they would never buy from me for a variety of reasons. It could be price, it could be whatever, style, maybe I just don't have the thing they want, and that's, you know, it's okay. It's okay. When I teach people how to do something, though, instead of making one model and selling it to one guy, if I can teach 10 people to make models to sell to 10 other people, now, guess what? We've got over 100 models made. And that's what I really, really want to see happen, is people making awesome stuff, getting the awesome things that they're looking for. So that's the point of all this. And now you have the tools to build a business that you can be proud of and enjoy and, you know, accomplish the goals you want. So we've got Matt here. Matt is on. He says, crap, I've missed it today. Well, that's okay. Matt, you can catch the replay here when I'm done, and it will be ready for you. I hope you get something out of it. Take a tool and put it in place. So with that, guys, I'm going to run off to lunch, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon, a great weekend too, by the way. Thank God it's Friday, right? So with that, I'm going to let you go. Comments and questions, share this information, and I will catch you later. Oh, preface for tomorrow, we have Eric Ohm. He's going to talk about resin casting at noon tomorrow, right here in the group, or right in the Rockin' H No Secrets group, because I can do interviews there, and we'll go from there. And Dylan asked, will these be on YouTube? Yes, Dylan, I will download these over time and get them on YouTube. So won't have time to do it today, but hopefully over the weekend I will make some time and get that done for you. With that, guys, I'm signing off. We'll catch you later. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.